So can 98 go into 7? Can 98 go into 77? Can 98 go into 774? Yes. So you're going to use a calculator, right?
49 times.
And do 774 divided by 98.
Or you could just do 7,742 and divide by 98
and get 7.
No, you get 79.
Well, I get 7.
7 for what?
So 98 times 7 is how many times 98 can go into 774?
Gotcha.
So 98 times 7 is 686. Then I subtract them.
4 minus 6. I don't remember how that works. If it's 4 minus 6, how do you group that over? I don't remember. Yeah.
This borrow from the neighbor, you get 6, and then this goes to 14.
Why? I do not remember that.
Borrow from the neighbor, that gets 6. This one gets to be 16. 88?
All I want to do is put my mind to that.
You do know.
What is this?
It's really easy when she tells you.
Bring down the 2.
Wait. But how come when I it's not very much. What is that?
Can go in 9 times exactly and get 882 and get 0.
What is that?
Or you could have just entered it into the calculator at 79. Will we get credit if we just give you the correct answer if it's one of those?
No. Not if I tell you to solve these long division. You gotta show me the long division. You can know the answer and then just miss out on some points of showing how. But if you don't have a calculator and you're actually trying to figure out how many times it can go into it, you need to know your multiples of 42. So 42 and then add 42 again. 86, add 42 again.
If I could hurt myself.
You don't know the multiple of 9?
What?
I never said
How'd
you do
that?
You add
5,
42. I need to go get 9. It'd be 8.
72.
I hope I didn't mess up that early.
86 was 42.
108.
Oh, we already messed up.
I messed up the first one. That's funny.
But even if you added 8,
You messed up the second one, too.
if you added 42 to 86, it would be
So we have 42, 84. Tell me when I mess up.
Right there. Yeah.
126,
That's what. You're gonna send me a what?
168. This is what people did before calculators. 210. Not there yet. 252. 294. Hey, there it is. That's the one I need. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So it goes in 7 times.
Oh, that's what we're doing.
7 times 42 is 294. 294. 26. 42 can't go to 26. So 0 times. 26 over 42. Let me get rid of all this. We don't need this. But this is how it's done, just so you saw. You need to know your multiples of 42. If you don't know them, you have to just sit there and add them together.
Oh my gosh, bro.
There's our
How do
answer.
you get it to where it multiplies by your answer?
Everybody jump.
Okay.
What's the class directly below you?
How many times can 84 go into 69? 0. How many times can 84 go to 697? This number, 672.
Whoa.
These are your multiples of 84. No, you have a calculator.
No. How did you didn't even do all the work? I don't get it.
I haven't done it yet.
Well, how'd you get 70, 13 over 21?
70, 13. Oh, this? I just simplified the fraction. 26 over 42. They're both even, so I divided both of those numbers by 2.
So that's guaranteed to be your answer.
Yeah.
Okay.
So if I put in my calculator 70 and 13.
As soon as we get that far, we can
I
figure
should
it, get that answer, we're done.
So I should be able to check that, right? I can just
Sure. How do you check it?
70.
How do you put 70, 13 over 21 in a calculator?
Extra button thing.
70 plus 13 over 21 times 42. So if I was going to check it, it'd be 42 times 70 plus 13 over 21. That's how you check it. And you should get 2,966.
That's exactly nothing like what my calculator just gave me 96. It genuinely gave me 96.
It's all you want to put the stuff in front.
Oh my. I'm just trying to
Bring down the 2. 252 goes in 3 times. 84 times 3 is 252. Subtract them, then you get 0.
Okay, now I got it.
The whole reason we did this is these are the same steps when we do this with polynomials, which we're about to do right this second. Okay, on your dividing polynomials, the back of it, the whole reason we reviewed long division isn't the first one. The first one's like we just did. We're dividing by monomial. So you can just divide them individually. So if it's a monomial, you're just dividing each individual one. It's when you get to binomials,
What page is this?
the back of the one we just did. When we get to binomials, that's when we have to do the long division.
I do got it.
I'm gonna take
Got him.
I'm gonna take this.
Yep.
Another tissue slip. I'm gonna take the other. I don't want it anymore. You can be the beauty and I can be the monster.
All right, same 3 steps over and over again for long division. On the side, we're going to take the first term of the dividend and divide it by the first term of the divisor.
Do what?
We're going to take the first term of the dividend, what we're dividing into, the dividend, first term of the dividend, divide it by the first term of the divisor.
Okay.
Some math words I don't understand.
2a squared.
Oh man, I know.
That gets lined up on top. That's part of my answer. That's the first term of my answer.
Wait, why we put it on top of the 5?
Because you want to line up a squared and a squared.
Oh.
So when we run out of room on top of our division sign, you know you're at the remainder. Okay, after you figure out what divides, how many times a goes into 2a cubed, a goes into 2a cubed 2a squared times.
That makes so much sense.
Then we multiply, just like we did in our long division. We multiply 2a squared times the whole divisor, a plus 4. So I'm doing that on the side.
Why do you smell like beef?
Oh, we just divided it, so why are we multiplying it?
We divided it here. Why do you multiply it? is the long division.
When do we multiply that?
What's 7? Oh, let's do an easier one. 4 times 6 is 24. That's when we multiply. 4 times 6. So that's what we're doing here. 2a squared times a plus 4. 2a squared times a plus 4. The whole thing. 2a cubed plus 8a squared. 2a cubed plus 8a squared.
I'm the next level.
This is the most confusing thing.
How did you get 8?
I multiplied. Distribute.
Why did you?
Because you have to do 2a squared times the whole thing. A plus 4. 2a squared times a is 2a cubed. 2a squared times 4 is 8a squared. I'm multiplying this to this, and it equals this.
This went from really easy to really.
Algebra 2. All right. We subtract our 2 rows. This is where people mess up because I'm subtracting these 2 rows. The whole thing I'm subtracting. I'm subtracting these 2 whole rows. We are subtracting them. When you subtract them, you're subtracting the first one. Nobody has problems with that. It's the second one they forget to change the sign. We are subtracting these. These cancel out, and I get negative 3a squared. I bring down the next term.
Why is it negative 3a squared if a squared?
When they're like terms, a squared and a squared, you just subtract their coefficients. 5 minus 8 is negative 3. All right. Those are the steps we're repeating over and over again until we finish. Now we start again. All right. Then we start again. So I'm taking negative 3a squared and divided by a. Step 1 again. Negative 3a. That goes on top. Negative 3a. Then I multiply it. Negative 3a. I line up my variables. Since this is a squared, this is a squared, they go on top of each other. This is a, they go on top of each other. Makes it easier to know when you finish your equation. So now I multiply negative 3a times the divisor. Distribute.
We don't have to do some more of these, Michelle. This is pretty cringe. So did you subtract that?
What about the 11? Negative 11.
We're not there yet.
Okay, Ms. Schultz, how did you get the negative 3a? You subtracted the 8a from the 5a?
5a squared minus 8a squared.
Okay. And then you just do the same.
Because you got to know it for Monday.
Yeah.
Well, I'm saying, like, I understand we gotta know. I'm just like,
I don't know where you got the 12
Is there a real world example?
Wait, all right. When we're subtracting our rows, make sure you're changing the signs of both of them. So everyone's fine with canceling it out. It's always the second term they forget to change the sign for.
So you don't do anything with the negative 11a?
No.
Gotcha.
Except pull it down. And then I do it again. It was a minus 12a, but since I'm subtracting my rows, it becomes a plus 12a. Because a negative and a negative make it positive.
Okay.
Do you want me to do it again? And then I do the steps all over again. A divided by a.
What? Can you just make it 1 then?
It's just 1.
If you see it as the exact same thing, do you have to do it over again, or can you just write the plus 1?
It will be whatever amount of work you need to show me.
Who is this guy?
Whatever you need to do to get the answer.
So
You don't need to
minus 3a plus 1.
Yes.
We will not have to show work for a plus 4 divided by a plus 4, will we?
Yes, we will.
A plus 4. No, we don't divide a plus 4 divided by a plus 4. We just divide a by a and get a plus 4, and then we subtract them and get a remainder of 0. So this is my quotient. My quotient is my answer. So this is my answer. I have 0 idea. All right. 3 steps. Divide, multiply, subtract. Divide. X squared.
What homework do we have tonight?
A worksheet.
Ew. Is it this?
Yeah. No. I have it. So I get x squared, and then what do I do?
You multiply it by x plus 9.
Multiply it by the whole divisor. And now slow down, Matthew. I divided the first term in the polynomial by the first term of the divisor. I divided x cubed by x. I don't use the 9 yet, the constant. And that's how I got x squared.
So the constant's just used for the constant at the end.
The constant's kind of just like a tag along. Distribute.
I saw his hands.
He's going there.
That's all we're getting.
I saw his hands.
Are we doing number 4?
No. I'm not going to do number 4 just because I run into that space. So I'll skip. We'll just do 3 and 5.
But number 4 has nothing below it, so you can go as far down as you.
I could. We can, but I want to do 5.
Oh, 5 is a bad one then, huh?
We are subtracting these.
Yeah, so you change the sign.
So I'm changing the sign of the first one and the second one. Nobody has a problem crossing out the first ones, but it's always the second ones they mess the sign up for.
Moment. Bertolo. Big Bertolo. Big Bert.
Did you ever figure out how old my brother is?
Then we start the process over again.
Why don't we subtract like that?
Why? You probably never talked to me in your lives.
What's 3x minus 7x?
You don't see your dad.
That's why. You subtract the exponents when you're dividing, not when you're subtracting.
You don't call him dad? What do you call him, Richard? Or whatever his name is?
All right. 2x squared divided by x.
Croy, is that his dad?
You're behind?
No, I'm not. I was asking.
Dang, you ain't got no biological. Only child.
People keep forgetting in my last class to put 2x on top. That is your answer. That's like the most important part. Make sure you put that on top.
He's like 32.
And then multiply.
This is art. Art. Oh, no, you can't mix.
Reported to ACM.
Nick's going to get a hairbrush. She called me daddy. I don't even know her mama. Louis, Gucci, Fendi, Prada.
Subtract. Subtract. The first one, nobody ever has a problem with subtracting the first one. They should always cancel out if you did this stuff on the right correctly.
This was in college. Were you just a party or a study?
And then this next one,
That is a party school.
this next one we're subtracting still. 15 minus 18.
Miss Rose, would you recommend going to Coastal Carolina?
I'm working on this problem.
That's not a yes.
So,
But that's not what is also
are the parties really fun? Like,
I'm working on
everybody
this
goes
problem.
there?
That I can tell you've never been to a party just because you said that thing.
Yeah, I haven't. You're right.
First term,
None of y'all over there.
divide by first term.
You're cringe. You're cringe. I'll kiss you.
-3.
Pause. I need to sit there.
See, I ran out of room, so anything left over would be a remainder. We don't have a remainder on this one, but I just wanted to state
I'll
that.
have to take you to a party sometime.
Then multiply -3 times x plus 9.
I'll have to take you to a party sometime, Zane.
Bet.
And the party is in my place, baby. If you know what I mean.
We're subtracting these rows.
No, I don't.
When you subtract these rows, opposite side. So it turns into positives. So your remainder is 0, and you have your answer.
Oh my goodness.
Bang, bang, walla, walla, bang, bang, bing, bang, boom, bang, bang, bing,
All right.
walla, walla, bang, bang.
So
You start 5 and see how far you can get.
Welcome to Will.
Okay.
I haven't even started yet.
The first term of the dividend, what you're dividing into, divide by the first term of the divisor. X squared. Line that above your x squared, your 10x squared. It'll help you later on.
Snack that smile back.
X squared times x minus 6. X squared times your divisor is x cubed minus 6x squared. Then you're subtracting. When you subtract, you're not just subtracting the first one, you're subtracting the second term. So a negative and a negative makes it a positive. Bring down the 29 and start again.
No.
-4x. So it lines up right above the x.
One day. Oh, one day.
No, that's fine.
I like boys. I like boys. I like kissing on them boys.
We're subtracting these, so they change signs. That's going to be a positive. That's going to be a negative. So you should get 5x.
Adam Steve, sweetheart.
Bring down the -24. Last time around.
You're going too fast.
5x divided by x is 5.
Yeah.
5 times your divisor is 5x minus 30. You're subtracting. So the subtracting the first one's no big deal, but a negative and a negative is a positive. So that's how you get your remainder of 6. What I do with it is I add it right here. I add 6 over x minus 6. And that's your answer. Make sure you put a plus sign or I'm taking off points. All right, I'm going to back it up and do it a little slower. But that's where my remainder goes. All right, Daniel, slowing it down. Are we good to this step?
Yes, I'm right with you.
Right now, right here.
I don't know where to go from the -4x squared plus 29.
Okay.
I don't know which one to plug into the.
We're starting again. So we did the first 3 steps once. Now we're going to do them all again. So I'm going to take the first term of what I'm dividing by the first term of what I'm dividing by. Thank you. Sorry.
You will be money. You smack that butt. Oh. Oh. Where did you plug in the 4x squared?
I didn't plug it in. I took it.
And where did you put it?
It's the first term, just like we did the first one up here. It's the first term of what you're dividing into. The first term of what I'm dividing into is -4x squared. So I take -4x squared and x and divide them.
So that's -4x.
Correct.
And then that goes up top, right?
Yep.
And then now what do I do? The 29 to the x minus 6?
Nope, not yet. Now we do what's on top times my divisor. -4 times x minus 6. I'm sorry, -4x
I want to eat your baby.
times x minus 6. And we multiply them.
So it would be 4x squared, or -4x squared, plus 24x.
Yep. So
Where do I
negative
put the 20? Where do I put that?
x squared plus 24x. And we're subtracting them. So we're changing our signs. So this negative is going to become a positive. This positive is going to become a negative.
Why?
Because I'm subtracting them. Another way to see it is you're subtracting this whole row. So, but that just makes you like mess up your signs a lot. So that's why I don't write it that way. So this becomes a positive, this becomes a negative. These cancel out. And I get 5x. Bring down the -24.
What? Okay, 5x, and then bring down the 24.
And I start the process over again. How do I start?
With the 5x into the x.
So 5x divided by x.
So it's 5. Right?
Yep. So 5 goes on top of my
That's 5.
division sign.
And now what do I do? And then 5x minus 30.
5 times x minus
Yeah,
x.
5x
So 5x
minus 30.
minus 30. Yes. So now I subtract this. So this sign's going to change and this sign's going to change. So I get left with +6.
So it's plus.
So that's my remainder. Because I ran out of numbers to bring down. And so I add that to my answer, my quotient, over what I'm dividing by.
What is a quotient?
The answer to a division problem.
Oh. Why is it 6 over x minus 6? Oh, because it's the thing.
6 was my remainder. 6x minus 6 was my divisor.